come down to actually it's the spiritual abode and to purify us, to reclaim these fallen souls back, and it has come down. Also for us, so that Mahaprabhu can perform his pastimes for his devotees. So this blue color circle over here, it represents the Navadvip Dhama, and 162 miles circumference. That is the total area of Gaudamandalam. So we are talking about Bengal, the whole of Bengal, half of Bangladesh, certain portions of Odisha, certain portions of Bihar also, and certain portions of Jharkhand. So this totally consists of your Gaudamandalam. So the whole of Bengal, actually, if you look at it, is the abode of the city. Even though you might go right now at Calcutta and you will see the streets or people worshiping yoga, eating meat, etc. Materialistic activities, but it is actually the abode of the city. And we'll also see why they are able to understand that. What's the reason behind all of this? So 162 miles is the Gaudamandalam, out of which is 32 miles is the Navadvip Dhama. Now, Navadvip Dhama, as per as our acharyas, is said to be non-different from Vrindavan. We all know about Vrindavan, its glories, it's mentioned in the Puranas, various other literatures. Yet, the glories of Navadvip Dhama are actually hidden. And why they're hidden? Because the Lord Himself is. So while growing up, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my grandfather, they all chanted Vishnu Sahasranam. And I used to hear them chanting out the Vishnu Sahasranam. And there was one section that would come. They would say, Swara Varno Hemango Varangas Chandranandi. And somewhere later on it says, Sanyasaka Chamashanta Nishtha Shanti Parani. I have heard this many times, but till the time I actually read the commentary of Bhagavad is when I actually figured out that the Suvarna Varna Hemango is actually Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. So this Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually mentioned, so hidden, no one could figure it. Suvarna Varna Hemango. Hema means golden, who has a golden Padma. Varangas Chandranagati, Sanyasa Pichamashanti, and he's spent his 24 years in Rasta life. This is the pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that is vividly explained in various biographies, like Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavata, etc. And then the next 24 years he was sannyas, did sannyas. So sannyas is Shavasthanta, Nishtha Shanti Parayana. This Nishtha Shanti means he silenced the Mayapurs. And he showed that how Prema Bhakti is the highest goal of human life. Is everyone following me over here? If I'm going too fast, please let me know. Right? It's okay. Thank you. So, if it's not different from Vrindavan home, there's no big deal. It's time to how now we understand. Then what is the difference? So this Vrindavan Dham has the Madhurya. Madhurya means sweetness. And Navadvip Dham has Madhurya. So can someone let me know what Madhurya means? Sorry?
Munificent.
Munificent, okay.
Magnanimous.
Magnanimous, yes, that's the word. Magnanimous. So it's the magnanimity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that's shown, especially for people in India. So I was hearing a class, and this one devotee made such a wonderful point. I wanted to share with all of you. He said, one can understand the pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna. When he comes, when he came to wherever there's Atmanam universe. To save his devotees, to annihilate the demons. That was some stuff in our mind to reestablish religion. And some Bhavani you gave him after every human. But if you look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will not find any instance where he kills anyone. So much so, when he was propagating the holy names of the Lord, there were these two drunkards, Jaga and Madhai. They came and they didn't want to chant the holy name of the Lord. And so Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur were begging. He said, just chant the name of Krishna. That's all we are asking. They refused. And not only the refuse, but they took a pot and they spit on the head of the piano. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very, very furious. How can you do something like that? He's my devotee, you cannot do anything. Then Nityananda Prabhu said, "Oh Lord, you have appeared to take all away their sins away." That's first, and second thing is to give Krishna prema freely. Dina hina yatachilo hari nama uttarelo tar saki jamana. That these are the proofs. Jamana Maharaj is the proof. That even though they hate the Supreme Lord, it's not Balram, still Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, it's all right. So this is the magnanimity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, we can understand Krishna's Leela. Okay, the demons came, they were enhancing the Vrindavan Vasis. So Krishna came and he just, killed them. He basically gave them liberation. But look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's not killing anyone. In fact, he's saying, you know what, I'm not going to give you liberation, I'm going to give you something that is beyond liberation, beyond moksha. And what is that? Krishna prema. This is the mercy, inconceivable. And sometimes I also say, that's why philosophy is called simultaneously inconceivable oneness and peace. So that's the situation. So this is the inconceivable magnanimity of Sri Chaitanya. And so I just showed the map once again. So this is the entire Gaura Mandala movie. Okay. And this whole small area over here is where Mahaprabhu here performed various of his pastimes. There was Prahasta with all this Prahasta, with all this other parshas. And so we'll be focusing on this very small point today, in this very small amount of time that we've got. So this, if you look at these 9 islands over here, I just get a bit of detail. So this first island that's over here, that's called the Antardvip. Okay, and that's where our ISKCON center is. ISKCON Sri Mayapur has their big chunk of land at this place called Antardvip. And this is also the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on this one. And then comes Simakadvi, which is on the right of the and then if you see this blue color line, this blue color line is nothing but the river. It's called the Juhu. And once you cross Simakadvi, you come to this section, it's called Dhama. And then from Dhama, we cross over here, come to Mayapur. So you see there's another blue color line as a river. Actually, this river is not physically present in front of us now. It's dried up. So it's so that it says how comes they manifest and they unmanifest. For example, Navadvip. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance, it was completely submerged under the Ganges. It was only after 200 years that when the water receded was when the Dhama started appearing again. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur showed us where should go and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to get them. So this is the Madhyadvip, and then there's another blue color line you see, that's the river Ganga. And so this river Ganga is where this another island is there, it's called Pole. And from there you get to Vidudvip, go up north to Janudvip, and up north again to Modudvip, and finally we reach to the last island, the 9th island, called Vidudvip. Now Vidudvip is on the left side of the Ganges also, and also the right side. It's pretty straight. So everyone is fine and clear till this section. So let's begin now with the first Dvipa, that's the Antardvip. Now Antardvip is the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's also known as Yogapet. So it's Yogapet means where Mahaprabhu connects himself. This is the name that's been given. Okay, and this temple was built by Bhaktivinoda Thakur approximately 100 or 120 years ago. So it's very recent. And the way he did was that he went to each and everyone's house and he took a begging bowl and said, at least give some luxuries that we can build a temple at the actual birth site of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's a reason why I use the word actual, because during the time of Bhakti-Vinod Thakur, there existed a certain group of people who claim that the actual birth side of Mahaprabhu is in some other place. And they were teaching about this. They were doing false teaching. And Bhakti-Vinod Thakur, through various ways, he proved it that the actual birth side of Mahaprabhu is in Antarguna. So this is the shrine from the outside. Now, once we get into the temple, we're going to see there the three altars. There might be 3 altars in the religion. The same is seen in the Now, if you look at these 3 altars, there is this typical body image. You figure it out as a body image. Reason being, the body image usually have a Radha Krishna over here, the deity of Shri Krishna Chaitanya. This is the typical body image style. Then, if you go, this is the on the left. In the center, you have Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his 2 consorts, that's Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya Devi. And over here, you have the Panchtattva. So, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Radha, and Shri Vas. So, these are the Panchtattva. And this is the deity of Juhu. So, these are the worshipable deities. These are worshipped by the Siddhanta Thakur. And now they're still being worshipped up to this day. Now we come to the point where Mahaprabhu is actually one. So you see this tree is called the neem tree. And that's why Mahaprabhu is called Dhama. It's called Dhama. So it was under this neem tree that Sachi Mata, she gave birth to Chaitanya. Now, before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this Sachi Mata, she gave birth to many kids, but due to some or the other reason, they died. They're very young and very young age. So therefore, she named this child, this child is Navadvip. And so you see these 2 deities. This is the deity of Jagannath Krishna, and this is Satyamata, and here you see the and the lap of Satyamata. Now, on the left, actually, these 3 photos you see can actually merge. They actually have slight different locations. But if this deity you see, when this is Shivalinga, there are 2 Shivalingas, and they are these called the Kshetra. Kshetra means the place, and Pal means Pal and Pal. So Lord Shiva is the one who protects. Can someone tell me in Vrindavan Dham, what's the name of the deity? Gopeshwar Mahadev. So same we have in Dham also. We have Lord Shiva protecting Dham. We have one in Navadvip. This one in Navadvip. So this is the one in the. Then once we go a little ahead in the Yoga Peeth, you will see the deity of Lakshmi Narasimha. Now, the reason this deity was said was, what is there is because when the Gaudiya started, obviously they were preaching the truth, and as soon as you preach the truth, there's always problem. And the best example is Juhu. Juhu just to buy this piece of land. It was for a very nice religious cause for the benefit of so many countless people. We faced so many problems. Srila Prabhupada faced so many problems. And it's so vividly described by his disciple Viraj Maharaj about the problems faced by Srila Prabhupada. And the same thing happened to the Gaudiya. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati started preaching. The people, they used to go the opposite party, basically the Vikas Goswamis and the Sahajiyas. They used to go to the policemen and they used to say, listen, we're going to give you 10,000 rupees, you're going to give us the lump sum of money. We have to kill this man of this transfer. And this policeman, they would then come to Saraswati and say, usually we do such type of things, but because you are a sadhu, you're pure devotee, so, they're letting you know about this, just take a note of this. So there have been instances when they receive this information and Saraswati Thakur is in the sannyas robes, his sannyas dress, and he would then say to his brahmachari, who's actually wearing a white or a different type of his garment, exchange, take my sannyas robe and give me yours. And then they would then not figure out this what this is now this also. Because they said, oh, we have to kill some sannyas. They did exactly how we do. So this is the Yoga Pit. It is the first place that we visit. So whenever you visit Sri Mayapur, and we request that all of this please take some time out to visit this wonderful piece of this abode of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The first thing we will visit is the Yoga Pit. After that, a little ahead, we have the Srivas Mandir. Now this is the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started his Sankirtan. Srivas Mandir. And if you notice, if you go to Srivas Mandir, you will see Mahaprabhu and his associates are dancing over there. And there is a small hole, Sri Mridanga, that's over there. And this Mridanga is broken. And the reason why it's broken is because Chand Kazi, under the instruction of Nawab Hussain Shah, actually it's not under the instruction of Nawab Hussain Shah, it's specified, was the Brahmins who were against Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They said, why are you chanting by the name so loudly? The names should not be like that. So the Brahmins were the problem. And so they went to Nawab Hussain Shah. I'm sorry, Chand Kazi. And they complained, this is the issue. Please do something about it. So the men of Chand Kazi became and they broke the Ganga. It's a very big offense then. So it was at that point, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his associates, as far as the Chaitanya Mangar, it was close to 1 million people they were there who came together for the first civil disobedience movement that's recorded in history. And they took all their kirtas, they took the mridangas, the kartas, and they marched all over the Kazi. The Kazi was really scared. He has not seen something like this. And then Mahaprabhu and Kazi had a dialogue. And it's a whole big dialogue that takes place in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Beautiful section in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then Mahaprabhu, and Chand Kazi then said to Mahaprabhu that from now on, no one is going to disturb your Sankirtan. And until this day, no one is disturbing the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya. Even after so many issues are happening between Bangladesh and India, the Hindus are being like the atrocities are going. But in Mayapur, not issue, not much of an issue. Is that the Sankirtan movement is still. So this is the deity of Mahaprabhu and Srivas Mandir. So after this, the two places that we visit, the third and the most important site is actually the Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya. So we are all here today by the mercy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It was he who started this missionary activity. Actually, before Saraswati Thakur, if you look at it, there was no such thing as having like Gaudiya mission as we or like how these churches have. It was actually very like if you look at the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will see the branches and sub-branches of the Chaitanya tree. So Mahaprabhu had disciples, Nityananda Prabhu had disciples, and they would go on preaching and they preached and they were very successful in their preaching. There was no such thing as as a much time, which the Madhavas down south they had. But we never had it. So he was the first one to do this, and he started 64 Gaudiyans. That 200 years ago. So this is what we see over here is actually this samadhi of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Saraswati Thakur actually left this planet in Calcutta in Bagbazar Gaudiyam. But his body was taken. A special train was made from Calcutta all the way to Navadvip. And then it was then taken to Gaudiyam, Chaitanya Gaudiyam, and his body was placed over. So this is the samadhi of Saraswati. Next, we see a very wonderful deity of Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu. Actually, this is the Gandharvika Giridhari. So each Acharya had a name for the guru. And therefore, whenever we sing, we do that. Jaya Radha, Damodara Radha, Radha. Anyone knows who was the worshiping deity of Radha Damodar? Radha Damodar. Who worshipped Radha Damodar?
Jiva Goswami.
So Jiva Goswami worshipped Radha Damodar, and Saraswati Thakur worshipped the Gandharvika. So this is the deities at the Gaudiya Math. And one interesting thing of the Gaudiya Math, I think this personally for the enlightenment, is that all the four acharyas of the Vaishnava lines, the authentic Vaishnava lines, are there. So we have the Bharta Sampradaya, then we have Krishna Swami Sampradaya, then we have Madhva Sampradaya and the Sri Sampradaya. And you can figure it out with the tilaks on the board. From which Sampradaya, each of them. And this is very unique. In the whole of Mayapur, at least the places where I have visited so far, we cannot see anything like that, in which we respect the other Vaishnava lines and their teachings. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says a very beautiful thing in this, I think this is Jayavadana. He says a beautiful point that all the four Vaishnava acharyas, they have one thing in common, that they accept Vishnu as supreme. There are some minor differences only, but apart from that, we have nothing. We don't quarrel. We don't have any as we do with the Buddhists. So this is one unique thing of the chanting Gaudiya Math. And another unique is the Radha Kunda. So this over here is the Radha Kunda, and over here, what we see over here is the board. The history behind all of this is that I think it was Bhakti Rakshak Maharaj, or one of the disciples of Saraswati Thakur. They went to Saraswati Thakur and said, in Goloka, you are Nayana Manjari. Is it not? And Saraswati Thakur he just smiled, he didn't say anything. And they said, yes, we know that you are Nayana Manjari, because it was, I don't know his name, Ananta Vasudeva. Ananta Vasudeva, who was one of the prominent disciples of Saraswati Thakur. Very powerful, but yet Shastrically so well trained. He later on took Babaji Sannyas, his name is Puridas Maharaj. And many of the books that you see that have been translated into English nowadays, the Shatsandarbhas and whatever these are Goswami literatures, he is the one who actually published them again. And so we actually refer to this manuscript. So he is one of the most prominent disciples of Saraswati Thakur. And in his dream, he got to know that Saraswati Thakur is Nayana Manjari. So he said, because you're Nayana Manjari and because your place of worship is next to Radha, is it fine if we have Radha with your house? He said, yes, we can do so. So this is the Radha that is built in Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. And these are the rocks. Some say these are the rocks that were gotten right from gold. So they got these rocks from gold and they built this small gold and here. So that is the end of the Ankal view. And that's the first element we're talking about. We are going in a clockwise direction, as I showed in the lotus pattern. We're going up north and then we're going away from the. So now we're going to go to Simanta Dvipa. Simanta is nothing but Simantini Devi. Simantini Devi is, you can say, the external Parvati or external energy of the Supreme. And in Simantini Dvipa, the first thing we see once we enter Simantini Dvipa, it depends on which direction you're in, because it's not a circle. But if you're going from south to north, the first place we see is the Chandkazi Samadhi. So Chandkazi, he was a notorious person, yet he was none other than Kamsa in Chaitanya. So the Gaura Desha Deepika is written by Kavita. I think it's called Gaura Desha Deepika is a book that is written by one of the Acharyas. And in that he says, who were each of these personalities in the Krishna Lila? So who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Okay, it's Krishna and who's Advaita Acharya? So Advaita Acharya is Sadashiva. So there's Shiva and Lord Krishna by So who was Haridas Thakur? He was friend with my Brahma. So all of this is very well mentioned for the Jagan Vadaiva. Gaura Ganapdesha Deepika. Yeah, it's translated into English also. So you can copies. So this is the Chandkazi Samadhi, and it gives all throughout the years it gives chunk of knowledge, even during months when it should not be. So this is how is it possible? Well, you are at the Dham, which is inconceivable. So anything is possible. So this is the Samadhi of Chandkazi. And after that, we will see, if we go up ahead, we go to this place called Rajapur, which is this Rajapur is the name that is, as far as geography, the current geography is the name is Rajapur. But from transcendental perspective, this comes in the section of Siddhi. So it is at this place that you will see the Jagannath Baldev Subramanian. And it's an interesting story that how these deities came. And it's a wonderful story that there was this one devotee by the name Ganguli, and he was a leopard. He was a leopard carpenter. Okay, it was impossible for him to carve these deities. But Lord Jagannath came to his. The Lord said that you have to make these deities, and if you once you carve these deities, that's when you will be cured of your leprosy. That's what he gave the tree for the leper carpenter. And he gave the instruction, the Lord gave the instruction, there's a river over there, there's going to be a log of wood, you take that log of wood, you're going to have to fill the things. And the leper didn't want to do that, because it's not possible, his body is very weak. But the Lord said, instructed, he must. And so he did so, and as soon as he did it, his leprosy was healed. So this happened 500 years back, so it's not something like 5,000 years ago, very recent. And later on, what happened is that the worship stopped because his wife offended Lord Jagannath. And so there was a breakout of cholera in that area. And all of the people who were in the area were. It was many, many years later, so by we are talking about 100 years ago, was when there was a man who was walking down that road, and he saw an ant hill, and he saw a voice coming out of the ant. He said, "Help me, help me." And he didn't understand. He thought it was like some ghost or something. It was very, very scary. And then later on, we got to know that this building of Lord Jagannath, they excavated that place. God saw the deities. These are not the deities made now. These are the same old 500-year-old deities. Okay? And then the worship is. And many years later, after that, I believe the 1980s was when the worshipper, the pujari, he handed over these deities to ISKCON. He said, "I cannot take care of this anymore. We have a very nice organization, please take it." So now ISKCON is taking care of these deities in Singapore. And just a little bit ahead, we have the deity of Simati. So if you look at it over here we have the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and here we have Simati. And can someone let me know what Simati is doing? Sorry? Okay, sadhana, tapasya, meditation. Yes, so she's meditating, she's doing. And who she meditating on is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why is that required when she has Lord Shiva as her husband? She can only say Lord Shiva. And what do we Mahaprabhu can do this? Yes, that's right. So Srimati Devi was feeling very sad because she's the external Chaya potency of the Supreme. So she's never going to get any time to serve the Supreme. So but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again, so merciful. He said, in this avatar of mine, you will have my God. So this is the temple of Srimati Devi in Srimati. So now we have completed two islands, and someone let me know the two islands. Yes, Navadvip and Simandip. And now what we're going to do is now we're going to cross the Jalangi River. So now let's get on the boat. Okay. Now the boat is going to cross. And after that, we're going to go firstly to a place which is very important for Saraswats, because we are all Saraswat body, and that is the Swananda Sudhudhu, which comes with the. Now, the reason why I'm saying it's very important, because if we read Navadvip Mahatmya is a book written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in which he reveals what is Navadvip, what are its glories, everything about Navadvip. And he quotes from the Upanishads, the Puranas, quotes everywhere, so that no one thinks that this is something that's made up. But personally speaking, or I would say as an organization, for us, this place is very, very important. For if not for this, or not for Bhakti Vinod Thakur, we would not know who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. Because during the time of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, the Das Goswamis, the Sahajiyas, they had made a joke out of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. That they would associate with women very openly and say, oh, this is our Parampiyas. So it was a very, very shocking thing. Even the Britishers thought, this is what Vaishnavism is. This is Gaudiya Vaishnavism. That you hang around with women. That the men hang around with women. This is Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So the Sakhi Bekis, there's one section of people called the Sakhi Bekis. Who they are is basically they are men who dress up as gopis. And they say that this is our litmus Swarupa. We are actually gopis. And they dress up as gopis. Completely ridiculous. I don't want to get into that word section. But it was Bhakti Vinod Thakur who opposed this very strongly. And he proved it. And he was successful. So for the first place we visit is the Swananda Sudhudhu. And this is the shrine of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And this is actually his house. This house name is Swananda Sudhudhu. And if you look more closely, you have here the deities of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Mahaprabhu. So there are only 3 places in whole of Navadvip now where we have this. One of that places, and so it's very rare, because usually people devotees worship God and Nitai deities. God Gadadhar deities very rarely do. So this is one of the sessions. Yes, this is rather because Gadadhar Pandit is very much. And here we also have the Samadhi of 2 devotees. One is this name is Haridhar Babaji, who was the servant of Bhakti. And this is the Samadhi of God Krishna. Actually, it's not a Samadhi, actually. This is the Bhajana Kutir of God Krishna. So, Bhakti Vinod Thakur's house was so spiritually potent. Just imagine. At this place, 4 people were there. I would say 4 people, 4 acharyas. So here we have Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, God Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj, and Saraswati. And all 4 would assemble over there and they will discuss topics on Lord Shri Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Imagine the potency that's there in that house. Very strong potency. And if we see this this beauty of one more amazing thing about this house is that it is from this house Bhakti Vinod Thakur saw that there would be a temple that would come up. That's the temple of Reddy. He foresaw this. So Chaitanya Bhagavat, that's written by Vrindavan Das Thakur. In that he mentions that there's going to be a time that's going to come when a beautiful temple will come. Okay? That ek adbhuta mandir hoibe prakash, Chaitanya nitya seva hoibe prakash. That a time will come when a wonderful temple, a magnificent temple will manifest. And from there, the teaching for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will spread all around the world. So, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, we saw it from his balcony, and he writes it in his books. He also mentions that a time will come when people of other nations and nationalities will come to Mayapur and they'll settle in Mayapur. So currently in Sridham Mayapur, we have people of 70 plus nationalities who are staying together in Sridham. We have people, there's a Chinese community in Mayapur. there is a whole big Russian community in Mayapur. Apart from the big community, there's so many. There are actually a lot of South Indians in Mayapur, apart from the local Bengalis. So, if you look at it, Srila Prabhupada, he wanted that the real United Nations is when you keep Krishna at the center. And I believe Sridhar Mayapur has proved that point very well. So, actually, this photo over here is actually the Prabhupada's Samadhi. It's not actually the TOP temple. The TOP temple is next to that. It's over here. It's coming up. This year, in the month of October, there will be a partial opening of the Narasimha altar at the Sridhar Mayapur. And next year is the grand opening of the temple of the plant. So this is this river you see over here. That's the river that we crossed just a couple of minutes back. That is the Juhu River. And after this, after Smaranasudakunj, we will now be proceeding on to a place which is just 2 minutes away from Smaranasudakunj, and that's called Surabhi. So the word Goduma, Go means cow, and the cow is Surabhi. And Duma is the banyan. So the banyan tree is not manifesting now, it's unmanifest, but there's a tulsi tree that's still existing over there. And so this is also a place where Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur started his preaching. Then, if anyone remembers the song, Nadia Godrume, so this is your Godrume. Nadia Godrume, Party Ache Nama Hatta. So this Nama Hatta that he started is at this place. This is the video. Now, in the Godrume Mandir, there are many places actually. Because of time, you're not able to see all of this. And one of those amazing places is Narasimha. So after Lord Narasimha Dev killed Hiranyakashipu, he then came directly to Sri Rama. And near this Narasimha Pali, right next to it, now we are in Juhu, right next to the Juhu beach, right next to that is the Mandakini River. And it is this Mandakini River where he washed his hands. So this place is also called as Devapalli. So Devapalli is because when they got to know that Narasimha Dev is going to come here, all the devas, the demigods, they started building their houses in that field. So you can still see over there some stones are there, some places. And this is the temple of Narasimha Dev. It's only open for a couple of hours, few hours in the morning. That's it. And you can get the darshan. You can feel a very powerful vibration, transcendental vibration when you enter that place. It's very, very, very powerful. So this is the place of Krishna. So far now we have completed 3 dvipas. Can someone name the 3 dvipas? So by the end, my aim is that you should know all the 9 dvipas. So now we come to a very special and amazing site, and that's in the place called Navadvip. So if you look at the lotus, just imagine the lotus. I'm showing you for yourself. So we have the Antardvip, Simantadvip, then cross, then we have the Godrumadvip. Now we come a little bit up north, and now we are coming to this place called as Madhyadvip. Now in Madhyadvip, this is one amazing place called the Hamsa Pond. Hamsa means, can someone tell me what does Hamsa mean? Swan. Vahana means pen. Now who rides on a swan? Saraswati. But actually we can also see Lord Brahma also. He also rides on a swan. But here is something interesting. Here we are going to see Lord Shiva on a swan. I said no, inconceivable. So get ready. This is Lord Shiva on a swan. And earlier they used to only show this deity 3 times in a year. Very, very, very simple. You have to come at that particular point, otherwise, obviously. So there was this river, there's a river called Gomati River, and that's where it was kept throughout the year. And when this 3 days come, the Chaitra month, they would get it out. And then they would show it there, they would worship the deity, thousands of people would come. But what happened is that the Muslim people, when the deity was in the river, they stole it. Somehow or the other, Krishna associated was recovered. And then afterwards, they are now worshipping it everywhere. So we should thank the Muslims because now we are able to see the deity everywhere. So, okay, so it's very difficult to see that this is Nandi, Asanga Nandi, this is the spawn. And on that, there's another photo. I couldn't get any good photos of Maksava. This is also another reason why you should all come to Sri Lanka. Because to get good photos is very, very good. Because this room is the room of Hamsavan is very small. How should I explain? It's like, let's just say 1/4 of this room. So you have one point where you enter and the other point where you exit. One small place and there's Hamsavan where you can see, you take darshans. So somehow or the other I got this photo. So this is the place of Madhyadeep. In Madhyadeep there are various other places, not only Hamsavan. There's also a place called Naimisharanya. So we know now Naimisharanya is the place where Shukadeva Goswami, he gave the Bhagavatam talk. There's also Naimisharanya, Navadvip also, in Navadvip Dhama. And then various other locations in Madhyadeep. Now that we have come to Madhyadeep, now we're going to cross the river again. So once we cross Jalangi, we're going to cross the Ganges. So let's get on the boat again. And now we have arrived at this place called Koladvip. So any guesses what Kola means? It's a little bit difficult, but I can give you a hint. It's one of the Dasha Avatars. Yes, correct. So I'm not sure if you like this. Guess it or
No, because the darshan was shown of Barahadev.
okay.
One of the Parshadas, I think one of the Parshadas was shown the darshan of Barahadev at Koladvip. Or that form was shown.
Okay. Yes.
I didn't guess it.
Okay.
But it in a talk.
Okay. Thank you. So yes, this place is called Koladvip because that's where Lord Baladev appeared. And in this place we have a very special temple. It's the Vriddha Shiva, the proud man. Okay, so in the starting in Antardvip, we saw the two Shivalingas. Remember, everyone remembers in Yoga Peak. So we have the same in the Koladvip also. So some say that they were actually in Mayapur. Because of the flood, they were then transferred to Koladvip. So we have Vriddha Shiva. I'll show you the photograph of that later. But this is the Prauda Maya moment. So here it's written Mahapuratani. So this is the deity of the what is it? Buddha. Prauda Maya. Now, what's so special of Prauda Maya is that she's very merciful. How is she merciful? So those devotees, those people who wish to be in illusion, she blesses them, be in illusion. So therefore, you see in Mayapur, right outside Yoga Peeth, you see rickshaw smoking beauty. Is Mahaprabhu giving you Krishna prema? No, he wants to smoke weed. Prauda Maya says, God bless you. Here, have it. But those who want Krishna prema, then Prauda Maya arranges in such a way that they get association with your devotees. And they can get, eventually they can get the mercy of Mahaprabhu, they can get Krishna. So therefore, she is very, very merciful. And we have seen, and personally speaking, I have also noticed that there are people in Sri Mayapur, okay, many living for many, many years, but they just don't want to do that. Because they know this Mahaprabhu, like, as there's a famous saying, if you live closer to the railway station, then there are chances are you're going to miss the train the most. So there are people like this, and so therefore, when I first came to Sri Mayapur, I was told that be careful of who you associate. And so this, sorry? Yes. So this entire temple is coming from with banyan tree. It's this is actually a very old photo, so therefore you can see it much more clearly. Now the situation is a little bit different. Yeah, we have a lot of other small stalls over there, some people selling something, as in every town. So this was the situation. And we have a very beautiful big Shivalinga, Lord Shiva. So same as I mentioned, they are also very merciful. So in Mayapur, this is the first location usually once we get off the boat. The first thing we visit places is 10 minutes away from the Dhama business. And then next we visit is the place called the Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu Mandir. Okay. Now, Dhama means abode, Ishwar means simple. Lord, the Lord of the Dhama. And who is the Lord of this particular Dhama? Mahaprabhu. Now, this deity, you see how Mahaprabhu is handsome. Both of it, it's downwards. Usually we see Mahaprabhu is like this, upwards. This is downwards, freely giving us. So this is the deity of Dhameshwar, this deity of Mahaprabhu. Earlier it was worshipped in Mayapur. But like I said, there was floods, so this deity was then got to Poland. It's worshipped ever since then. Now, the speciality of this deity is that not only Mahaprabhu is worshipped, they say Mahaprabhu is here with the Angavastri Vibhuti, but at special times in the week, they also have this. So, this deity is actually worshipped by Vishnupriya Devi. And therefore, when Vishnupriya Devi was worshipping this deity, she was worshipping it for something like 80 years, 80 plus years, if I'm not wrong. When she was worshipping this deity, after she finished her worship, she then merged into this particular deity. So therefore, they say that she is also there. So there's sometimes this deity is draped in sari. Not very unusual. You will not see something like that. So yeah, sometimes in the beach you will see like this, floating. Sometimes you will see sari. And then worship. Next, we have a very important site, and that is the Samadhi and the Janagopir of Jagannath Prabhuji. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's first guru was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So his first guru was Vipin Bihari Goswami. But because Vipin Bihari Goswami said something that is contrary to what scriptures say, he rejected Vipin Bihari Goswami. And then he accepted Shiksha from Jagannath Prabhuji. Can someone tell me the pranam mantra of Jagannath Prabhuji? So in that pranam mantra, if you know, in the last line it says that Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Prabhuji. So he is the Vaishnava Sarvabhauma. So everyone accepted him as the top, the leader of all the Vaishnavas. And when he was in Vrindavan, when he came to Mayapur, he was very happy. He said that Mahaprabhu is so merciful because in Vrindavan you commit little offense, you get 100 times reaction, 1,000 times reaction. But in Sri Ram Mayapur, if you commit offenses unknowingly or unknowingly, Mahaprabhu is very, how you said, orderly. So he doesn't consider it. So it's very easy to do bhakti over there. And at the same time, it was in Ojasvi where he attained, he got to know his history. So Siddha Swarupa is nothing but the eternal, that is the Swarupa or the form of the Jiva. So as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, May Vamsho Jiva Loke Sanatana. So Krishna says, Mamai Vamsha. These are my part and parcels. So eternally we have some connection with Krishna. And what is that connection? We get to know that by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So once we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, offenselessly, then it comes to a point that Swayameva Spurati, as mentioned in the that we get to know who we are, what is our initiative. And now it's very easy to do it. So this is the place of Poland. Now, this is the shrine where he figured out his then who he gave this this very big project. And it was also at this place where he was 120 plus years old. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur invited him and said that I've done some research and asked some people also that this is the birth site in Navadvip, that is the birth site of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But I wish to confirm it for me because you're my guru. Jagannath Dasji Maharaj was very, very old. He was so old, he was bent, he couldn't even move his arms. And so they had to carry him in a basket. So they kept him in a basket and they carried him. They took him to the place of Mahaprabhu's birth site, just filled with tulsi plants. And as soon as Jagannath Dasji Maharaj arrived, he jumped and he said, this is the place where my Mahaprabhu he appeared. Because that happened. That they finally found out the birthplace of Jagannath. So we are grateful to Bhaktivinoda Thakur because he did all the research. We are even more grateful to Jagannath because he told us, he confirmed, verified, this is the birthplace. Now, after Koladvipa, now we're going to go up north, just a couple of more dvipas. First is the Ritudvip. There are various wonderful sites in Ritudvip. One of that place is called the house of Sarvam Bhattacharya and Vidya Ojasvi. So these two, they are the associates of Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu, he performed a very wonderful pastime at the house of Vidya Ojasvi. He took a pen and he put it in the ground. And guess what happened to the pen? It's a guess. You have to do guess. Start writing. Okay, that's a good guess. Start writing on this one. Let's fix that pressing. What happened if the pen goes inside the ground? What would come up? Sorry? A tree, yes. So that's what actually happened. Something again inconceivable happened that that a tree came up. And the tree is still there, it's still present over there, and they call it the column tree, the pen tree. Yes. So the tree is still now after Ritudvip, we go to this place called Janudvip. Now Janudvip, or rather Janu Muni, was the one who did something very interesting, something which not. Yes, he drank the Ganges. Sorry? Yes, today's Janu Saptami. Yes. So he drank Mother Ganges. When I heard the story from my father for the first time, I said, how is it possible someone to drink the entire Mother? Yes, yes. Then it came out from his bodies after that, because he was requested by the king. So please be merciful over us. Please don't take Mother Ganges. So now, why is Janu Muni doing? What is Janu Muni doing? Well, Janu Muni, when he was meditating, think around that. The Kali Yuga is very lucky. These people are very lucky. Why? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is appearing and he's freely giving Krishna. That we don't have any qualifications and still are getting it. So it's feeling very sad. And when he was meditating, Mahaprabhu appeared. And so this is the place, the Pali Janu Muni Ashram. Not much development has happened, but the Bhakti Vedanta Charity Trust is working on something to build this nice place over there for the Janu Muni Ashram. So this is the Janu Muni. And then next we come to the Modadruva. Now in Modadruva Dvip is a very important place. Various places are there, but one of the important places is the birthplace of Vrindavan Das. So can someone tell me what is his major contribution and who is he in the Chaitanya Leela?
He wrote the Chaitanya Bhagavad.
Yes, he wrote the Chaitanya Bhagavad. And who was he in the Chaitanya Leela? Any guesses? And it starts with the same letter V. Yes, Vedavyas. Yes, Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva ji, he incarnated as Vrindavan Das Thakur. And Chaitanya Bhagavad as a literature is very, very esoteric. It's very difficult to understand. And But by the mercy of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we can understand it because Saraswati Thakur wrote Gaudiya Bhashya. It's an extensive, very, at some places he doesn't write in commentary. At some places he writes commentaries only 4 or 5 pages long. And he quote immensely from Rig Veda, this Veda, Upanishads, Puranas, just to silence the opposite party, to say this is the truth. And we are very, very. So this is the birthplace. This is where Vrindavan Das Thakur actually did his schooling. And when he was 16 years old, very young, this when he got initiated from Nityananda. And then he went to a place called Delu. It's a bit far away from Navadvip, very far away. 2-3 hours by car. And that's where he wrote trying to be. The manuscript is still available. The original manuscript you can still see it. You can still see his handwriting. So this is where because these are the worshipable deities of Krishna Das Thakur. They have got retired deities and Radha Madan Mohan deities of Vrindavan. So this is the Radha Madan Mohan deities. And this is Subhadra Ji and this is Baladev. This is what you will see once you go to the movie. Then comes the last and the final Dvipa, and that is the Madan Gopal temple. So this temple of Madan Gopal Ji actually was worshipped by Sachi Mata's father. So Sachi Mata's father, whose name was Nilambara Chakravarti, he was worshipping this deity. And currently this is taken care of by ISKCON, and ISKCON is taking care of us. When we take the parikrama route, so those who have been to Sri Mayapur, those who haven't, if you haven't, please come for Navadvip parikrama. It's a wonderful 9 days, I would say it's a festival in itself, where various sannyasis coming up, various devotees are there. If we tell someone to walk for a couple of kilometers alone, there is it's impossible. But if you go in a group, we can do entire Navadvip mandal parikrama, which is. Anyone remembers what was the total circumference? Sorry? Yes, 32 miles. 168 miles is Gauda Mandal. That's the entire Bangladesh. So now the Dhama is this 32 miles. So this is the very famous, it's called the Belpupur Madan Gopal temple. So if you type Rudradvip, you will not find anything on Google Maps. Because Google Maps doesn't have a detailed option. But if you type very quickly, it was earlier called as Bilba Paksha, as the Bengali people call it Bilba Paksha. And and there, over there, Bilba means the pale, the leaf, and that's how the Brahmanas worship Lord Shiva. So and now we also there's the detail of the So this is just a glimpse of the movie. There is a lot more. And literally at every step you will find something on the someone's appeal side, some Leela of the Lord. Even the ISKCON campus in itself is the place where Mahaprabhu did his childhood pastimes. Not many people know that. This ISKCON site, if you have seen the temple, is where he did his childhood pastimes. So each and every place, something or the other is there. This is just a glimpse into that big 32 miles, and look at these 32 miles for our eyes. The reality is unbelievable. So this is just a glimpse, and now we look into some of the glories of Navadvip. Now some glories of Navadvip. Glories we get to see in the Navadvip and Dhama. He writes over there. So first thing is, as any Dham gives, that is unlimited sense of wisdom. Okay, someone might say, okay, but that is also a possibility. Chanting Hare Krishna, what's so great about coming to Navadvip? Okay, what if I say that one obtains Krishna Prema, even if they commit offenses? Now, how is that possible? Because in Navadvip Dham, even if you commit offenses, yes, you get reaction. But the reaction is not as severe as one gets in Vrindavan Dham. Okay? So one gets reaction. But Mahaprabhu is very merciful, and in due course of time, the tendency to commit offenses, if the person is really serious, he wants to get Krishna prema, then the tendency to commit offenses will leave only. That is the power of Guru. Then next, the offenses are always forgiven. I mentioned how, because we see the proof of Jagai Mara. Jagai Mara reproves offense. So we have a proof that it is actually possible. It's not just something that we're saying. That is a proof of. And those who visit once Navadvip, this is Bhakti Thakur saying, they're free from all offenses. They've noticed so many times, devotees, they just visit Dhama. I believe recently I read in the news, this year, last year, some actress or someone visited Dhama and then she just quit the industry. Something I read in the news, I don't know who she is. And when I read that, I said, oh, this is the power of Dhama. So the offenses are given away. But let's take one more thing before we close for today's session. Then when we spend one night in Navadvip, one attains something that is very, very amazing, and that is he gains the piety one gets when residing in these 7 holy places for 100 years. Can someone let me know the 7 holy places? Very famous amidst the Hindus also. Rameshwaram, okay, that's the. Okay, so let's go one by one. So Mother, you said Dwarka, that's 1 out of the 7, so we have 6 more to go. But that is actually the child. So there's others also. There's the 7 holy places I mentioned. No, not Vrindavan. Some other guesses? Someone mentioned Jagannath Puri. Some consider that as the 8th holy place. So we will take that also. Okay, 8th holy place. Okay. Still we have 6 more to go. Mathura again, but that still comes from the Vrindavan. Still. Haridwar, no. Let me give you a hint. One amazing temple is coming up next year, which all the Hindus are. Yes, Ayodhya. Yes. Okay, other places? Sorry? Yes, Kashi. Very wonderful. Yes. So we got Kashi, we got Dwarka, we got Ayodhya, and I'm sorry, someone also mentioned Mathura over here. Yeah? I'm sorry. Actually, Mathura is a place. Apologies. Pandharpur, no, not really. Any others? No. Again, not sure. Again, consider. Tirupati, no. That was already. Puri also, but I said that's 8. So we have considered that. Udupi, no. There is a place in Madhya Pradesh. Yes, but what is it called? It's Mahabaleshwar, that's sorry? No. It's there's another name for it. Yes, someone said. Yes, Avanti. That's the name that's doing the Shastras. Now it's called Ujjain. Shastras is called Avanti. Okay. Did you mention Kashi? Yes. Okay. Then I need it. So the Kashi is also there. And okay, so let me give out the last. That's Gaya and it's Kashi. So in 7 we have Ayodhya, Mathura, Gaya, Kanchi, Avantika, and Avanti, 2 persons. And also we have Puri, some country. Now, if you live in these places for 100 years, that's equivalent to live for 1 day in Navadvip, 1 night. Okay. So one can see the benefits one gets just by staying in Navadvip. Sorry? Sure, I'm heading out next week, so you can follow me. Okay, so these are just some stories. There's an entire chapter given. This is actually a conversation that takes place between Nityananda Prabhu and Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami arrives in Mayapur and he sees Nityananda Prabhu. And he's so happy. And then Nityananda Prabhu imparts him the knowledge. He's telling him, he's actually letting my Jiva Goswami that, okay, this is what breadfruit is. This is where Buddha is. He's showing all this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written it down for this. So with this, we will conclude. Would someone like to read this wonderful quote? Jeba Jane Chuntamani. Okay, you have read the half, so let this portion let the other part.
Anyone living in Navadvip knowing Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the same personality, lives in Navadvip, Madhura Vrindavan. The Lord has made it convenient for the conditioned soul to live in Madhura, Vrindavan, and Navadvip, and thus be directly connected with the supreme personality of God, Srimad Bhagavatam 10.1.2.
Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Mayapur ki. Thank you all very much. If anyone has any questions, I will try my best to answer it. It's called Jalangi. Jalangi. Yes, so Madhavi is asking a question. If I pray to the Lord, will he do it? The answer is yes, he will. And it's much more easier now than it was 100 years back. 100 years back, it's train over there, it takes so many days. Now you take a flight and easily reach stuff. And now there's also guest house facilities. Earlier it was so difficult. It's an austerity. Now it's also an austerity living.
During the Parikrama time also the guest was thinking
Yes.
No, they give reference to the point.
No. If you book it early on, like you book it as a group, then it is given. Well, it has to be done early. If you do last minute booking, it's very well. Yes, bro, that is how. Yes. Okay, so it's a very nice question you're asking. So Chaitanya Mangal is written by Lochan Das Thakur. Okay, so what I've known is Lochan Das Thakur. So, anyways, but your point that you mentioned is correct. That yes, they were from Odisha, and in Odisha, their great grandfather, Mahaprabhu's great grandfather, in this dream, Jagannath came. Yes, Lord Jagannath came, and Lord Jagannath instructed them they should immediately go to Sri Hatta. And so overnight they shifted to Sri Hatta, which is called Silhet now in Bangladesh. And over there, the entire family stayed until the time when Jagannath Mishra, when he grew up to do higher studies, he came to Maria, or to be precise, Navadvip, because that was the hub for all the people who want to study Nyaya, logic. And he studied under Nilambar Chakravarti. And over there, he saw Nilambar Chakravarti and he studied, and Nilambar Chakravarti offered his daughter for marriage, Jagannath Mishra. And then they shifted back to Sri Hatta. And in Sri Hatta is the place where Mahaprabhu was conceived. And when, after a couple of months, when they moved back to Mayapur, was when Mahaprabhu appeared. So if you look really going to deep of it, it's Sri Hatta, it's Bangladesh where the real thing is. And therefore, if you haven't been to Bangladesh, you have this fortune, but those who have been, I've always given positive feedbacks. They've always said that Bangladesh Gaudiya Vaishnavas are very, very humble, down to earth, and they love their culture very, very much. They're preserving it. I hope that answers your question.
Any more questions? You have given a wonderful lecture. You have taken us directly to the Navadvip. And many of us have seen, those who have not seen, I am sure they will book the tickets as quickly as possible to Navadvip. And we will give our thanks by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Ojasvi Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your patience and your time. If I've committed any offense, please forgive me. And please correct me if anything wrong, because a lot of information is there. And I may have, missed something, said something wrong. So please correct me so that I don't make these mistakes in the future. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
So 5 minutes kirtan as it's known before we have the call.